Hi everyone, in this video I'm to talk about the Universal Nintendo RGB SCART cable powered by RetroTink, which is sold, I bought it through retrogamingcables.co.uk. As of time making this video, it costs £50. I think it's for the 1.8 meter cable. There's also a 3 meter cable as well. Now, a few weeks ago, I bought the Super Famicom. Again, this is my entry to Nintendo Classics. Until now, I was just playing on the Nintendo Switch. In the past, what I played on Sega Master System, Atari 2600, Commodore 64. I had the Game & Watch, but it doesn't count. I played Donkey Kong in the early 80s, but I didn't have a Nintendo console. And there's something great about it, because when you get a retro gaming console, you feel like you haven't played it in the past, it feels like you're actually getting a new console. Something weird. But in some way it's true. It's new to you. Now, just a bit of background, I bought the One Chip 02 Super Famicom from Japan, which can lead to very high sharp results because it's kind of squeezed the entire video processing system into a single chip that was done actually late in the console's life. It's actually tagged as SNES CPU One Chip 02. And most Super Famicoms are actually 2 chip models that use multiple chips to create the image, which causes a slight blur and this kind of annoying vertical line you see in dark scenes. Now this is not a modded one, there are modded ones, so this is not the one. So basically the One Chip 02 fixes some of these issues. So it can create very sharp results. Some people might like it, some people don't. But there's a catch here. So if you use, for example, the cheap cable, you're just waiting this one chip's potential. You'll get kind of audio buzzing, maybe some wavy lines and ghosting, and you're not going to see the quality that this console is capable of producing. So why this cable? Well, with a cheap cable, it's kind of mass. You have loose wires that are end soldered to pins, and they break easily and can leak electrical noise, which of course immediately will affect the image quality and also audio quality. So a custom PCB replaced those loose wires with a solid circuit board. So it's also cleaner and stronger, and of course allows you to get much higher image quality. But inside there are different components. For example, the THS 7374 amp is basically a video amplifier and also buffer. It buffers to isolate video sources from video sinks and preventing signal degradation. And of course, we're going to boost weak video signals to provide strong enough output for various displays. And also it includes an optional low-pass filter, but I think this one is going to be turned off because it was meant to reduce high-frequency noise, just creating, for example, jag edges or jaggies, which again is great for flat-screen TVs, but it should be turned off for CRTs. Now again, the cable uses also both this amplifier and an integrated circuit designed by RetroTink, and the chip corrects the video signal voltage, ensuring that the image brightness is correct regardless of whether the console is PAL or NTSC. So it's not like those cheap universal cables that you can buy and you just connect it and the image looks dark. Now inside there's also the LM1881 sync separator, which provides the clean sync of C-Sync. This is crucial for high-end upscalers like the OSSC or RetroTink to avoid image jitter or dropouts. And the pack-a-punch shielding, which is also available on my previous cable. This meant that each wire inside the cable, by that I mean the red, green, blue, audio, and the voltage, has its own shield. So this eliminates crosstalk that can lead to video buzz or checkboard patterns on the screen. So the great thing about this cable, this is really great for modern upscalers like RetroTink, 4K, OSSC, Framemeister, or if you're using high-end PVMs or BVMs. Of course you need, again, for many of them you need also the adapter. And also fit different consoles, right? If they're PAL or NTSC, it's provide much safer way to actually use a cable, because if you make a mistake, you can actually fry some of the electronics or the device you are connecting this cable to. It also features true RGB video and stereo sound. Again, if it's applicable, of course, for the console. And it's also mentioned on the website, it's compatible with SCART-enabled televisions, SCART to HDMI converters that support RGB video. Some don't, they actually provide some information about that on the official channel. SCART to component video converters, XRGB mini Framemeister with your SCART to mini adapter. OSSC, the open source scan converter, and RetroTink 2X SCART, the 5X, and the RetroTink 4K. So just maybe in the future, like myself, you plan to buy the RetroTink 4K at a certain point, this cable will be a great one as well for that. Now they do have the NTSC version of this cable, which I decided not to buy, although it's considerably cheaper. And although again, still highly optimized, again, it can feed the Super Famicom and US SNES, again, because they're NTSC, and RGB modded N64. It works because, again, the mod is wired for NTSC specs. But on their website, they mentioned that they do not give advice on which cable to use for RGB modified system, including N64s or the NES modified ones. But on the Universal one, it's mentioned, and I quote, the cable supplies an RGB video signal and stereo sound from your Super Nintendo PAL or NTSC, PAL Gamecube, and RGB modified N64. I mean the right N64s, which is far superior to the original video cable. But it won't work on PAL SNES nor on PAL Gamecube. On the other end, the Universal cable supports Super Famicom and US SNES, PAL SNES, the European version, PAL Gamecube, and RGB modded N64. It will work perfectly on all of them. And to be honest, I was really worried about damage, so I wanted to be safe from the 12 volt pin. If just in case I'm going to buy a PAL SNES at some point, I don't want to make this mistake and fry my equipment. So when it comes to safety, I just prefer that. So this was one of the reasons I wanted to get this cable. They actually wrote a very strong warning. As you can see, do not use the G-Sync SNES NTSC cable on a PAL Gamecube or PAL SNES, as these PAL consoles output 12 volts on pin 3 rather than a G-Sync, which could result in damaging your TV. Instead, we sell the dedicated PAL Gamecube G-Sync and PAL SNES G-Sync. There's also over the Universal cable. Cables which have sync separating circles inside if you want to achieve G-Sync signal from your PAL consoles. So I took everything into account, and on top of that, or aside to that, also my personal preferences and the hardware that I have, and also things I'm thinking about the future. And that cable was just an immediate choice, and I ordered it. Hopefully I'm going to get it soon, and of course I'm going to make another video and we'll see well, how it performs. Of more hardware coming. It will be interesting, so make sure to subscribe and press the bell button to get notified when I release those videos. Thanks for watching.